she spent her days helping misguided sorcerers out of tricky situations. Some could get pretty cross when their magic backfired horribly, and she was well practiced at looking past the bad in people. But Mom had not been there on Mortimer Scratch's first day at school, when he had stood by Miss Sunny to say hello. Henry Figgins had chortled and said he thought Snortimer was a funny name. An answering snigger had gone around the class. At first break, Henry had appeared with a bloody nose. When he was being patched up by Mrs. Maudlin, the school receptionist, and the one who had the enviable responsibility of dishing out all the bandages and plasters from the first aid box, Henry had been strangely quiet about what had happened, mumbling something about having tripped. So Raven had to find her bravery to screech to a glaring stop right in front of the annoying new boy. Annoying in many ways, not least because he was an extraordinarily good shot. The whispering in Twin Hills said the Scratches moved around a lot, mostly to keep their son out of trouble. "Oh, hello. My name's Mortimer." "I know who you are. You're in my class at school," retorted Raven, concentrating on Mum's advice that if you sound brave, no one knows how you feel inside. How it really felt was as if a little black hole had opened inside her and it was sucking in all her courage. "What I want to know is, why are you squirting water at me?" He was lean and wiry, taller than Raven, which was true of most people in her class. His hair was dark, possibly even glossier than Rookery's. Raven felt her own name gave an expectation that she should have hair that was dark and straight, like beautiful wings. But that hair had been given to her sister. When she said her name, people tended to repeat it in a certain way. Raven? As if she had somehow got her own name wrong. Because her own hair was annoyingly both fluffy and curly. If anyone had called her after her actual hair, she'd have ended up with a name like Alpaca. The annoying boy had frozen, with the water gun in his hand, drops drizzling guiltily from its nozzle. He shifted his arms behind his back, as if that would make the huge orange water gun invisible. "What I want to know is," he leant forward and dropped his voice to a whisper, "how do I meet the witch?" Raven felt the world spin. This was truly the first time she had ever had to deny everything, and it gave her a prickling sweatiness that had nothing at all to do with the cycling. A thought had flashed through her mind. He couldn't possibly mean her sister. Could he? Chapter 2. The Howling Hag. "You say you want to meet a witch like saying you'd like pickle in your cheese sandwich, Mortimer Scratch." Raven attempted her best deny-everything scoff. "How is that even possible, seeing as witches don't exist?" Raven told herself to stay calm, to not give away that her stomach felt like rabbits were running around in there. She had been taught from an early age how to respond to questions, but she could not meet the boy's curious stare, and instead she focused on a slinky black cat that was basking on top of the inn's sunny wall. It looked half asleep, although its ears were pricked up. "Can you call me Mort?" "Why?" "It's my new name." "I don't think I can do that." "I don't see why not. Mortimer makes me sound like a nerd." "Well, possibly, but I don't want to call you Mort because that just makes you sound dead, because, you know, it means dead in French. If you ask me, sounding dead is worse than sounding like a nerd." "Of course I knew that," the boy said quickly, though his eyes, which were the colour of autumn conkers, gave him away by opening wider in surprise. "But not many people are going to know that, are they? You are the smartest person in the class. How about Morty? I'm going to give that a go and see if I like it." The cat's green eyes blinked open and then closed again as if to say, "Who is this idiot?" Despite her nerves, it made Raven unexpectedly want to giggle. "So, how do I find this witch?" "Why are you asking me?" said Raven stoutly. "I wouldn't have the faintest idea how to find a witch. I'm going to see my Grandpa Knox." She kept her fingers crossed behind her back. "I didn't mean your grandfather is a witch. That would be stupid," said Morty. The cat moved itself into a long stretch and gave another very slow blink, as if saying, "He definitely is an idiot." "Is that your cat?"